Yara Senger to come here. So the friend that helps me out, that inspires me, that mentors me, right? The person that I know that is that has organized some of the largest programming focus events in the world, right?
Hello, Bruno. Good afternoon or good morning to everyone. It's a giant pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be on the first ever International Developers Career Day. This is awesome.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Yara. It's awesome to have you here. It's so great. Actually, I'm just confused here because I left Jim's room open and I'm listening to his voice at the same time. So I'm in two places. So sorry about that.
That's the good part of the digital events, right? We can actually be in two places at the same time.
Yes, it's crazy. And I'm very messy. I open lots of windows, and so I keep forgetting my windows open. So I was telling here. So Yara organizes the developer conference, right? The developer conference is the largest developer focused event in Latin America. It's one of the largest developer focused event in the planet. And so I think that Yara has done an amazing job with the developers conference. It's an event different than most events because it has a lot of mini events inside, right? You have more than 100 communities a year participate in this event. So I asked Yara to come here to discuss because she has just gone through this really, really big challenge that was to turn the developers conference into an online event. Exactly in a year where a lot of the big developer events were canceled, right? Because people thought, well, we can't do networking, the event's not going to be the same, all of that. Yara actually did TDC 3 times already, actually 2 times already, going to do the 3rd one now. So she's going to do 4 TDCs this year, 100% online. So with you, Yara Senger.
Thank you, Bruno. Just a small correction. This is it's not that I did. This the biggest difference that we have at TDC that is that it's a giant we did, right? And I believe that's the most important thing that it's different from TDC because it's really an open innovation platform inspired on the JCP model, inspired on the open source idea and concept, right? Inspired on this amazing way that developers do things together. And this is totally different from a medical environment or other environments where people are doing. It might be the us, but it's the us, our team, our company, right? And on JCP, on open source, this we are doing or us. It's really a wide perception. When we think about open source, it's like people all around the world that sometimes might be even competitors on something. They are collaborating on that piece of software. So this is amazing from our ecosystem, and that's why what we could bring to this event. That is a giant we do together. And when we do together, the most precious part of this is that each person has their vision and their ideas and then experience in the world, in life, in other events, and they can bring this together. So as a manager or a team leader or, even a CTO or a CEO or anyone in position of taking decisions for their organization, the ability to listen what your people, your team, your community, your customers are saying, it's extremely important, right, Bruno? Listening people and then building your own decisions based not only on your perception, your view, but on a wider vision, right, Bruno?
Right. That's very cool. So yeah, are you going to present slides or something like this, or just going to talk with people?
No, just going to talk here with you and friends about our challenge, right? I imagine other people are going through the same challenges, right?
Okay, so then before you get started, let me just kind of, because I forgot to tell everyone. So remember that right now, at the top of the hour, we start a new set of sessions, right? So if you go to the sessions now, you're going to see the speakers that are going on right now. And so we have, I know Houston is going to do some mentoring. If you have questions for that, you can have there. Actually, we have lots of mentorings right now, right? We have Rustan and Elder Moraes we're going to mentor you in your career. And we also have Andre Noel. He's going to talk about creativity, right? And we're going to talk here about events, and we're going to discuss how you can either participate in those events to actually to do networking, and how you can grow your career, participate, get this benefit right now, right? Because everything's online, so we all can participate on things that we couldn't participate before. So how you can do this to improve your career, right? So is that so thanks everyone. And so Yara, you are, I think I might be spoiling your surprise here, but I'm going to spoil anyway, right? So one of the interesting things about doing online events is that you are actually expanding TDC. So for the first time ever, you're going to open up TDC for the international audience, right? I mean, not international. We had people from Latin America, but you open up the TDC for the whole world. So can you tell us what's going to be the international track at TDC and how everyone here in this event can participate?
You know, I have very good friends that are working on that, and that's what I was mentioning about open innovation, right? So as a platform for, you know, events like TDC being, you know, this platform that supports other people ideas. So if you have a business analysis user group, or you have a Java user group, or, you know, any user group on data or big data or NoSQL or anything, you can organize a track inside TDC. And this year, Bruno, who's not here anymore, bring this.
No, I'm here. I'm just giving this spotlight to you. I'm here.
No, I'm fine. Just kidding with you, Bruno. So Bruno had this amazing idea that we could do an international track. So he asked me to talk about that, but it was totally his idea, and I'm just, you know, helping to make it work with the best energy I have. So the idea, we'll have one main stage. These two allow us to have two main stages. One will be in Portuguese, so we'll have the regular conference, and the other one will be the international stage. It will be 2 days, August 26th and 27th. And the track organizers, the committee for this, are Bruno, Elder Moraes, Otávio Santana, and Elias Nogueira. So they will be hosting this track. Call for papers is open. I really believe that we should have any way that people can submit their talk. So I love the idea of having open events, and open events, they ask for a call for papers or any other way for people to submit their talk. Of course, this event is very open, right, Bruno? You let the session creation, so people, they can go further. They don't need to go to call for papers, and they can just create their own session. So this is the next level for open innovation. So call for papers for TDC, the international track, is open. We do have two tracks. One is more on design, agile, product management, business innovation, digital transformation, and the other one is more technical. So Java, microservices, testing, DevOps, cloud, and things like that. So the idea is that we can put this community together, all people around the world. That's the idea. Open our house for international participants that now are not just coming to speak, but they can also come for the most important part, that is interacting. And interaction demands speaking and listening to have a good conversation. So I'm very glad, and I will share the link for the international call for papers with you. So if you are interested in applying, you will be very, very welcome. So our call for papers is on the chat.
Yeah,
it's of course from the...
Yeah, I had just done that exactly when you said I'm going to share there, right? So you don't have to worry. Yeah, so We just put the link on the chat right here, so you can see, submit your talks, right? We want to open up TDC for the international audience. You're going to be able to register for free, right? So going to be for free event, right? So you're going to be able to register and see awesome international speakers. And you can also submit your talk, right? We want to see representation from all over the world. So if you want to submit your talk, the link is on the chat right now.
And when we think about open source, how do we decide what is going to be done, right? So when we have open source, we probably never just pick something that we want and just do it. In general, we try to understand what people that are using our software needs, right? And when we are doing our digital events or even our physical events, how hard or how much are we trying to listen what our people want, right? Or you as a product developer or a service that you are providing, how deep are you looking to your audience and their needs? And I really believe that this digital environment, it's very easy to lose people. They just click and they're gone. It's different from real in person, not real, but in person events where people generally, they were polite, they will not, just leave everyone. This is very rare to happen. But on digital events, we have this extremely good and danger situation that we can listen a lot to our audience while we are speaking. They can be chatting, they can be clicking, they can be interacting, they can share their opinion, they can complain, they can, applaud, but we can just lose people that will click and leave from our session. So if you are organizing events, that's very important as you are developing new products and services. So I would like to ask people here on the chat to tell me if you are organizing an event, if you organize meetups or anything, just let me know. I want to hear from you who is here with me. So please send me a message here on the chat that I want to hear from you. What are you thinking? And so going back here to the parallel of developing an event and developing software, as event organizers or meetup organizers, we do have this ability to put something in production, right? So Bruno just put this event in production. So this is a way to learn. It's a way to create your event, to test it, to listen from people what they think, to listen from speakers how was their experience, and if they like it, if they learned, if they got what they want, and all that. And if you do organize meetups regularly, as we do 5 CDCs per year, we have 5 opportunities to do it better, to launch the V2, to launch the next version. So if you are organizing events or talks or just lives or streaming your content, I would say it's very good if you can use every experience as a new release of your software, of your product that you are developing. So we understand the data, how many people, how much they spend, how much time they spend, how they like, what was the feedback, and the most important, what can we do better next time? So how can we make it better? How can we generate more value? What people are looking for when they join our session, our live, our YouTube presentation? What are they looking for? And as more as we understand what they are looking for, better that we can work to offer exactly what they need. And that's precious. And lots of people say that empathy it's important because we will be better person, right? We'll be able to help the world. We'll be, at something a good quality. But also, I would say that empathy, the ability to understand what other people want or what are their needs, I would say that this is a very important tool to do business. If we can't understand what people need, what they want, we can't make our offer better. So empathy, it's not just good for human, for for your human being. It's good also for doing business. As more empathy we have, as more and we can understand how people think and what they need, best offers we can do. Hi, Hedy or Hedy Abed. I don't know how to spell, but thank you for sending me the message. Please let me know if you do organize any event or you what you like on events you have been participating.
Yeah,
Another
I've got a question. I'm not sure if I'm going to take you off track here a little bit, but
never.
what is so? Oh, Jim saying, "I'm so glad you're here. You talk about empathy, right?" So, well, do you want to say something for Jim? I can ask my question later.
Yes, I just think, Jim, it's extremely important, right? As human being, and also as when we are doing business, when we are doing negotiations, when we are working with our team, I think it's just extremely important for we can offer the best that we can, right? So I think it's really important, and I'm glad you like it, and I'll try to go to your talk to see what you are going to talk about that. Go ahead, Bruno.
So yeah, we have Jim is here. We have lots of Javas group leaders here, like Jim Betancourt from the Houston User Group. We have Scott also from the Houston User Group. We have Mary from the Chicago User Group, and she's actually bringing like 3 or 4 jug leaders with her. They're gonna run something later today. So I mean, we have lots of people from different user groups in the event here. Oh, and I just realized I don't have the camera on, so sorry about that. But we have all those people from the user groups, and the user groups are going through this problem, right? We can't do in-person things right now, and we have to move things online. And some of them is okay because we always did free things, and some user groups are cancel their events where they would get the money for the year, for example. So how about what do you think what was the biggest challenge for you to decide to do an event online and a paid event online? I mean, could you if you didn't do the event, would that be a problem for your company, for example? How are you handling this situation?
Bruno, first, I think that the biggest challenge is the courage, right? So when we faced, in my case, I had no option. One of our main business is doing events, so we have no option. Like, okay, we are doing nothing this year, but it's hard. It's hard to think, will it work? Is something new? What I'm going to offer to the sponsors? Or what will the sponsors be able to get something back from our event? Will people want to join us on the event? Will I do something that is just the normal that will be replaced by our YouTube live? So when we decide to do the event, and I think every judge should use the opportunity to try it out and do it, and try to think out of the box, because the best thing is what we couldn't do in personal events. If we just think about what we used to do, it's one side of the coin. When we think about what we could not do, that's the better part, right? So if we want to run like a large jug event, the same way we have the sessions here, we could have each session run by a jug. So we could now it's possible to put a worldwide jug event all together, right? Each jug can be responsible for one track, one day, the full set of talks. And we can do that together. And doing that together, we will increase we'll be increasing our bonds, right? We'll be doing things together. We'll write stories together. So I really think it's an incredible experience for jugs doing a virtual conference and trying out this model. And as more as we do it together, we reduce the risk. So if we are doing one small thing for my jug for, 200 people, maybe it will be hard to get sponsors. But if we have 200 from one jug, 200 from another jug, 200 from another jug, and we have 10 jugs, we have 2,000 people. And doing with 2,000 people, it's much easier to get sponsors. It's much easier to do it high quality, right? Because, if we have 2,000 people, it's easy to invest a little bit more on services, on people to answer, and on all that. So having no frontiers, it's really good. And nowadays I'm thinking how I will manage to go back to in-person events on the economical risks, on the physical risks. So when I was doing the in-person events, and we were doing that for a long time, we do it since 2007, our last conference in São Paulo, we have 12,000 registrations. And when we think about 12,000 registrations, what were all the risks I get? I get the risk of serving food and people getting sick. I get risk of having work accidents on the books. I had so many risks. And now when we think about online, what is our biggest fear? The system goes down. We can handle that. Come on. We all work with IT. If our biggest fear is the system going down, that's certainly something we already faced on our professional life. Our system goes down. The bank system goes down. The e-commerce goes down. It goes down on the worst day ever. Probably, if you have 10 years plus experience, you already faced that biggest fear. So system going down is something that will stop any jug leader from doing anything. Second thing, finding a business model. We would be free and all our money will come from sponsors. We would be paid. We would be half paid and half free. How are we going to think about this business model? Again, that's cool. That's nice to play. For me, it's a new challenge. We need to think about it. And we work with digital products on our daily basis. So thinking about this business model, it's cool, it's fun. And I tell you that for us, we have an economy that, dollar is very high for us and we are running hopping. So I found a business model that makes it works, even paying by attendee, it works. Bruno find this another thing, doing it totally free. So, we might have other business reasons for doing that, but now we are charging something that is around 100 reais, which is $20, but for a Brazilian, it would be more like, $60 or something, the sense of that. And people, companies are seeing value. They are, we could make it here in Brazil. So that's no reason why international jugs cannot find a way for charging events on a small fee and making it work. Another thing is dealing with sponsors. So if you are dealing with sponsors and you are dealing you already had sponsors before. I'm sorry, just one second. If you have sponsors,
Yeah, because I think one thing that Yara is saying very well is that this whole thing it's every event has its own business model, right? And I think that when you go online, you also have different business models to do, right? So you could have sponsors, you could have paid attendees, and so I that's one thing that I kind of find funny, that a lot of people think that, I can only do a paid event if it is a presential event, right? If I go online, it has necessarily to be free because there's so many free stuff out there. But that's not a reality, right? There's all kinds of different business models you can do. There's all kinds of different things that you can do. And one, you could do, you could support sponsor, for example. You could support VIPs. Maybe you can have some kind of thing. That's one thing I was discussing with a guy the other day, is that maybe it's a free event, right? But if you have a VIP, someone that wants to pay for it, maybe they want to spend more time with the speakers, for example, right? And so maybe the speakers are willing to stay, like have a one-on-one conversation with someone if that person is paying something or something like this. So the online has all kinds of different business models that we can think about.
Yes, and if it's not different, you are in 2009, right? Because we were streaming events since 2009, and you don't want to do something that looks 2009. We need to do something that looks 2020, right? So I think we must use this opportunity to think out the box, to think what we can do, and not be too much fear, because the worst thing that can happen is something that we already faced in some point, that is the system going down. Well, if you are dealing with sponsors, that's a bit different. That's not totally in our control. So when we think about sponsors, that it's, again, we need to have lots of empathy. So for each sponsor, we need to deeply understand their pain. If we don't deeply understand their pain, we cannot do an offer. So there's no one size fits all. There's no one thing we can offer that everyone needs. So we need to understand, right? Our sponsors, they are looking to employer branding. Our sponsors, they are looking to sell their products. They want awareness, what they want. And the digital world offers lots of possibility. So at TDC, we had the booths like we have here, so people can do that, and we must really wear their shoes. So we need to understand it's their first time. What are their fears? How they are used to technology? How we are going to share? How we are going to drive people, audience, to the booth? How they will get more clicks and lots of things. But when we are thinking about that, the digital environment, for me, it proved that can be a really good offer to sponsors, because the cost is smaller. They don't need to invest that much. It's not zero, and some of them would expect something even smaller, but they don't have the cost for building the booth. They don't have the cost of travel and hotel. And also, we can have unlimited content. So when we think about sponsors, and we think like, Nike is sponsoring us, Nike wants to sell shoes, they want to have their brand, they want lots of things. That doesn't depend that much of the audience. The only parameter we have is, will they have money to buy that or not? When we are dealing with sponsors on tech conferences, first, sponsors want to understand the audience. So if we have experts, lots of people with more than 10 years of experience, that's unique. So if you are organizing a conference with an advanced topics, so you will attract experienced developers. And this is diamond today, right? Experienced developers, it's diamond on the world economy. And again, now lots of companies open their frontiers. So if they were already open to hire in other states or even other countries, now it's much easier, and they don't want to travel. They can just interact with your audience. And having the ability to present their content, it's also gold for them. So at TDC, we used to have sponsors doing talks in the middle of the tracks. And that was not the best option for people that were interested on the tracks. They sometimes will feel that's the sponsored talk. But now what we did, we offer an entire room to them, their sessions. So they can build entire tracks. And that's, our next edition that will be from August 25 to 28. We have 10 sponsors that are organizing entire tracks. So Red Hat will have an entire track. Microsoft will have an entire track. They can do, 20 talks. They can engage their team. So the sponsors on digital events, I feel like it's not the biggest problem, because for audience, for participants, we have more options today. They can go to international conferences. They have the live, the streams, and all that. But for sponsors, I feel like the number of events is smaller now. So if you have a good, high quality set of people that will be watching, it's kind of easier to get sponsors now than it was on the in-person competition, where you are competing with people that have the best venues, the best coffee break, and the best everything. And now we are competing more equal to equal. So if you have the best environment, which I think Hopin is one very good environment, you know, what are the other competition factors? So venue could be very expensive, and digital platforms, they are not that expensive as venues, and you have a better idea of the costs and everything. So if you are interested in running a conference or even a small conference, I'm very well open, and it will be great to talk to you after this. So what else? Is there any other questions? I could keep talking here, but what's the point of me talking? Let me know. That's what I prepared to talk.
I have a question here, right? And I think this is a question that's both for people that want to run events, but also for people that are participating in events here, right? So, we all know that one of the biggest things, and I think you are the person that says this a lot, right? And one of the biggest thing about coming to events is doing the networking, right? It's actually meeting people and having opportunities to meet different people. So do you have any suggestion for people here at the event, what they could do to increase their chance of meeting people here? I mean, using the tool, I know you know well the tool, so maybe ideas that you can use the tool for, or other things that people could do in terms of connection network, maybe, following people on social media. Is that a possibility? How can people maybe not replicate, but do networking in this new online world?
Yes, probably you work it or had employees, and I have as well, as people that, they are like transparent. They do their job, they do it right, but they are never seen. And that's a problem, right? They probably will never be fired. They do their job, but they are never seen. And that's a little dangerous, right? Sometimes we want to be seen. And on the digital world, it's even harder, because you could come here to this event and nobody see you. On an in-person event, it's a little harder, because you come, people see you, you sit, and all that. And, of course, this is not exactly what I mean by being seen. But on digital events, it's even harder, because people don't, it's harder to start the conversation when you go to a booth, people don't see you. So I would say that we have several people here, and everyone wants something. And if people get what they want, we could sum everything, do this addition, and see how much value we have generated. So generating value is something really important. So, when we present a talk and something learned, we can see that we generated, 2 points of value. If we motivate someone and they get a new job, or they get energy to study something, we could say we generate 5 points of energy, and we could see how much value we have generated during this event. But the most complicated problem is that I cannot generate value for you, Jim, or for you, Hedy, if I don't know. It's not, I can, but it's harder for me to generate value for you if you don't show up and tell me what you need. If I cannot discover, it's hard to randomically generate value to someone else. So what I would say is that on digital events, we need to participate, right? We need to not just to watch, but we need to participate. So I would say that every session we go, we will do like Hedy said, you know, hi Yara, I'm here. We should comment, we should participate, we should put ourselves there and be remembered. So, you know, I will probably, during the entire event, I would also think that Jim and I, we have something in common. We both believe that empathy is a very important thing. So we have something. And then, you know, if I see Jim again, or if I see him on Twitter or anything, we have viewed our first step. We already passed through that. We already know that the other exists. Jim knows that I exist. I know that he exists. I remember him from another event Bruno organized several months ago, you know. So this is a building relationship. And when we think about relationship, and we think about relation, and we think about we are thinking about repetition. So repetition and relation come from the same root, that is repetition. Relationship is not single point. It's repetition of interactions, and especially interactions that generate some value. So as more interactions that generate some value for me or for Jim, stronger is our relationship. If we do several interactions that don't generate any value, our relationship probably it's not strong. It's a weak relationship. So what I would say for people on events is show yourself. Show yourself inside the event, inside the session, on social, you know. So when you go to Twitter and you print screen and you say, I am here on the first ever International Developers Career Day, and you publish that, you are generating value for Bruno. If you put hopping on the hashtag, you are being seen by the hopping team. So I would say exercise, you know, and create and change your mindset to the ability to generate as much value as you can, and be honest and transparent with people you trust on what are your needs, so they can generate value for you. If we have a hiding relationship where I don't want to tell what I want, probably because I don't trust the other, harder to get value. But generating value is a very good exercise. If we can generate value, then we are valuable. So I really think that on digital events, put yourself, show yourself, talk, be known, and try to generate as more value as you can for others, and be transparent on your needs. That will be easier for people that want to generate value for you. What do you think, Bruno? Is that what you mean? Bruno is very good on that, and he is always doing things for others. And it's hard, probably, you know, not everyone who he helped will help him, especially on the same moment. So if you are looking for exchange relationships, it's hard, right? If we need to find something, Bruno, let's see something that you don't want and I want, and something I want you don't want, right? You see your room and you try to see something. I see my room and I try to see something. So I would say, Bruno, do you want to change anything? I have this wonderful flower and I want to exchange something with you. And you need to look something around you that has approximately the same cost and you want to change it now. That's a lot of restriction, right? Probably we'll find something, right? You don't want my flower, but maybe you say, okay, I'll change with you. But if we take away this parameter of synchronization and we just say, I will give you this right now, and one day I will get something back, our chances of doing business increase a lot. So
yeah, yeah, the whole thing is, I think you're hit right in the nail, right? It's very hard to do those relationships like like reciprocal relationships all the time, right? And there's a type of people in the world that we call the matchers, right? That they want to be, okay, I help you because you're gonna help me, right? So they try to match this all the time, right? And there's another type of people. There are the takers, right? They say, okay, I want everything, right? So everything for me, nothing for you. So those are the takers, and then the matchers, and then there are the giver. The givers are the people that actually give more than they receive. And a lot of people think, well, the best way for me is to be a matcher, right? Because then I'm going to be exchanging. I'm going to be kind of doing relationship with people that can help me out. But the problem is that when you do this, you have no idea, right? That's the problem. You keep trying to do that. And then what happens is that you keep missing opportunities all the time, right? Because when we start the conversation, I don't know how much you can help me, right? I don't know if sometimes you might not even be able to help me right now. Maybe I can help you now, and then a year later, or 2 years later, 10 years later, right? Then you're going to be in a great position to help me out. But if I'm a matcher, I'm going to try to, oh, no, Yara can't help me right now, so I'm not going to help her. And then I miss an opportunity, right? So the people that actually grow more are the givers, right? Because they actually are helping others. And then, the return can come a lot later. So I totally agree with you there, Yara. It's very hard
and can come from other people, right? Sometimes, I help you and you help another person.
Right.
I think we have so much restriction, and if we keep adding more restrictions for everything, it's really hard. And so timing is something complicated for a business because, and we are not talking about business, right? We are talking about relationships. So I would say focus on yourself, on how you can generate value. And if we can generate value for free for Bruno, it means that maybe I found a source of services, right? I learned, that I can help Bruno in somehow, and maybe other people want that. So I increase my value by learning how to generate value for other people.
Right.
So that's really good. I love that book, by the way, and I remember we discussed it a lot. So
yeah,
givers and takers, right? The book.
Give and take. Yeah, give and take is a great book to talk about. Yeah. So that's the science behind networking, right? So I think it's totally awesome that you're now able to do this, right? I'm not sure where Heidi said he was from, but in the beginning we had so many people saying, oh, I'm from so many different places, right? From Japan and Bangladesh and Pakistan and we have Serbia and Brazil, and I mean, we have people from all over the world, right? So now we have this opportunity to be here and be meeting each other and having a discussion, and especially on a platform like this where you can even participate in the session, right? Some of the speakers are letting people in and ask questions and things like this, so we can actually see people face to face. It was very funny because how those things happen, right? I got a message here on WhatsApp, and someone saying, hey, Bruno, I think this is your friend, right? And because a friend of mine was talking with another friend of mine, and they met. I mean, they never met each other, but they met here at Hopping in one of the sessions, right? So it's like, awesome. So Hadi's here in Tunisia, right? So thanks, Hadi. So it's awesome, right? So we have all people from all over the world participating. and sometimes we have friends of the friends kind of meet each other. So I mean, this is networking, guys. I think the more we can replicate the network from a real event into an online event, the better we're going to be. And by the way, sometimes it's a lot easier. I think we got to mention that a little bit, right? That a lot of times it's a lot easier for you to be here having a conversation with the speaker on the chat than, imagine if you're in an event, right? And there is, 100 people in a room, and how are you going to do this, right? How are you actually going to raise your hand and talk to the speaker, or make a comment? You can't make a comment, right? But here you can, and then the speaker can interact with you. So it's a lot better. I like the online a lot. I love the in-person events, of course, right? But I think that online event has opportunities that a lot of times we don't understand, and we don't make the effort to understand, and then we miss out.
And now it's not a question of like or dislike, right? Now,
right.
This is the best tool we have. And I believe that, like the jugs, if we find a way to do an international jug event and put all the jugs together, this is something that cannot be done, right? Practically, we can do a small event with all the jug leaders or with many jug leaders, but people will never fly, every jug member to the same place. So I think we could prepare ourselves for doing the best we can do right now with the tools we have now and the restrictions we have now, but also to prepare to the wonderful world of the hybrid, the events that will be digital and physical. So what our last speaker at TDC called phygital, that is the physical and digital, and how we can work on that. For us that work on tech, we are good on that, and I think there are lots of opportunities for that and for career growing, working abroad, developing better products, learning from more people. So lots of good things to come, Bruno. Make the lemonade with the lemons we have, right?
That's right. Or make the lemon the lemon, and with everything we have. That's what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna do a fruit salad, right, with everything, right?
Yes, so that's very good. And we see here people are already, talking. We have someone from, Hedy from Tunisia talking to Steven from South Africa, and with Karen from Brazil, and that's amazing, right? I would say, Bruno, the last thing that is very nice on this tool is the ability to create your own session, so people can go there and create their own session. But if you want to go private, so like if can I share my screen just to show something here?
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So if we just let me just share the right screen here. I would just show another part of the tool here that I really love. Tab. So if we come here, and I would try to connect to Hedy, if it's allowed. So I will come here, and can you see my screen, right? I came to the menu people.
Yeah, I took mine off, so it gets
I will found Hedy here, and I will say hi.
Oh, that's cool.
Right, and then I would say, I would invite him to a call. Can we talk?
So Hedy, you're gonna have a direct call with Yara, but Yara's not gonna start this now. You can start after you finish your talk.
No, I will.
You will.
I will, but I will put on mute here if he allows. Okay. So I would just click on this link.
You have a cool conversation here with Yara. That's awesome, man.
Yeah,
this is
but
great, Yara.
this, this will be just a test, right? We will not
Right.
talk a lot right now, but probably you got a red message here, right? And I will start my video. And if you accept that, you open your message and click the link, you could come. And best than that, I can get the same URL from this, and I can go again to another person, to the chat, and people. And now I will invite Steven, right? Do you remember which Steven was on the chat? Steven Macunza or Steven Ricks that Hedy was talking to? Macunza. So I can come to Steven and say hi. Can you, and can you talk now? Now I will send the same URL to him. Oops. I will send the same URL. And if both agree and click on the link, we'll have this session between the three of us, and we can go up to 5. So if I send the same link to Bruno, he could come here as well. So please do
awesome.
accept, and we can do these groups of 5 people. So this might be a good way to discuss, you know, about challenges, about, you know, anything you want. So nobody accepted my invitation, Bruno, so I cannot show everything right now, but I think you got the idea, right?
I don't think they're believing in you.
Oh,
right? I think
come
I
on.
think they're like, whoa, is Yara really gonna talk to me right now in the middle of her presentation? That's what they're like. They're wondering. So, hey, Hedy.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve. You know, you should go on and accept Yara's conversation. Then you go talk, and we finish here, right?
Yeah. But I think you got the idea, and that
Right.
was what I wanted to show.
Right.
So, but let's see what
Hedy's just
Maximiliano.
here. Oh my God.
Ah, come on.
All right. So, Yara, why we decided Hedy's going to accept or not? You know, there's a couple of conversations here. So Steven says, I'm liking online events better than physical ones. It's so nice to have network with so many people globally. So that's cool. And Maximiliano adds this, honestly, I can choose between physical and virtual events, right? Each one has its own benefits. But since this pandemic world has begun, I was able to watch 3 online events and perform 5 boot camps that I didn't have time on the physical world, right? Yeah. So that's awesome. So Yara,
Yes,
if you could not, oh, go ahead. Yeah, no comment on this.
I have the same problem. I'm really enjoying the online events, and it's hard. It's hard to decide the proximity from people and how you can interact, and also the benefits of interaction with people that, you know, they are really away. And I see Maximiliano's point here.
Yeah. So Yara, let me tell you one thing. You know, you organize awesome events, right? That's a very, very large event, and there's all kinds of events in the planet, right? So on the other spectrum, there are very, very small and intimate events, right? And events there are. I mean, there's a lot of organization involved in it, but they're not very well defined, right? Because we call them unconferences because they are undefined conferences. And so I want to have a conversation here between, you know, 2 of my favorite event organizers in the planet, right? Yara and the guest we're going to invite here to the stage now, Heinz Kibbutz, right? So I'm getting Heinz in the stage, and Heinz runs the J Crete event. That's a very small, intimate event. And let me tell you this, I'm just going to let Heinz get in here, and I'm going to tell you, because it's a very, what Maximiliano is talking about, right? It's very, there's a lot of conflict. So let's see if I told Heinz 7 minutes, so maybe I'm not sure if he went to do something before that. So let's see if he joins in.
Yes,
But you know,
here he is.
Hey, hi, how you doing? So
I just popped onto the main stage to see what was going on, and it's like you're saying, "I'm going to invite Hyde." It's like, "Oh, go back to the backstage quickly."
So you were right on the beat, and we call you.
Yeah, no. So hi said, I'm an hour early. I just came here to check. I said, no. Your time is right now. So I was just gonna go for a swim. So let me tell you one thing.
I'm tired. I'm really tired.
I'm gonna put you against each other right now, right? Because I have a problem, right? Because you know I have never been to J Crete, and the reason I've never been to J Crete is because TDC happens on the same week as J Crete, right?
Every year.
So every year. So basically, you know, I'm a co-organizer of TDC, and actually TDC is really you know, we have my company has booth there, and we have lots of people there in the thing. So every time they really you got to come to J Crete this year, I'm gonna say, man, I can't come because TDC is so I always have to decide. But I can tell you, both of you know, you guys are among my favorite event organizing the planet because you organize two of the most amazing events, right? So thanks both of you for being
here. It's really funny.
You know, this is not fair. You are doing your event in Greece, right?
Yeah, well, we need to talk, Yara, really, because every year it's the same story. I invite Bruno says, "Yes, I'm coming. I've booked my flight." And they're like, "Great, you're coming." "Yes, I'm coming." And then it's like a few weeks before he says, "I'm not coming." Like, how can you not come? I mean, it's the 5th time in a row that I've invited you, not coming.
Yeah, but we are trying to get away from July, okay? This is the good part, that we are trying to get away from July. So I hope we won't have this problem anymore, right? We are trying to get away from July.
You know,
exactly
I was
because it's vacation.
Chatting about virtual versus other types of events, and obviously, I'm sad we're not doing J Crete because it's a very physical event. You know, we swim in the sea together and we eat lovely restaurants together and so on. So it's something which is hard to do with these virtual events. But I also quite like the virtual events to some extent, because with the virtual event, I mean, I spoke in Bulgaria, I think it was last week or the week before. Then I spoke in Nairobi. And I spoke in India, and now I'm speaking in Brazil, and it's like normally this is not possible, and all of a sudden it's become possible. It's wonderful. I mean, I love it. I mean, really. I mean, I hate it and I love it at the same time.
Yes, I know. But you know something, we have been trying to do more open spaces, right? And I know you do that, and I think it's an art to, you know, make people interact the way you know you have this conference. So for conferences, I think it's really challenging to make this environment for people to interact. So we tried sometimes, and several times it didn't go right. We let the space, but then how it goes and all that. And now with the online, maybe you can share your secret with us. But now with the online...
Oh, no. I can't tell you my secrets. No, come on. What are you talking about? The magician never shares his secrets.
But something we were trying is like, you know, we have the entire days of talk. And I believe that with this moment we are living, it's even more important for people to talk. People are watching things all the time. You are watching YouTube, you are watching live, you are watching Netflix, you are consuming. And the best tools we have for interaction, we cannot do it right now. So, you know, we cannot go to bars, we cannot go to conferences, people are not going to schools and all that. So we kind of lose the platform for interaction, and we need to do this interaction online. So we need to find this space for people to interact. So at TDC, we changed radically the content. So we had more short talks, and we forced Q&A 25 minutes. Lots of people like it more, the Q&A, going to the separate room. Instead of having only talks, we forced 38 different panels and debates. So we had more debates than we ever had at TDC. And when we see the evaluation, we had lots of feedbacks that, the best part was the panel, the fishbowl, and the interaction thing. So we were trying last time to do the tracks, and in the end, open everything and do the open space. So after the entire day of talks, let people do this open conversation. So what do you think about doing that on the internet? How, do you think is a problem, or you think people would come to this discussion if we just, like Bruno said, with the rooms here, let it open and people would come to discussion? Is there tips and tricks that we can do that online?
Okay, I've got a whole bunch of ideas. So Bruno, I can see you and Yara, both of you. But I prefer looking at Yara. Sorry. I know what you look like. I don't see Yara very often. I see you all the time.
Yes. Okay, cool.
But I'm trying to see if there are any monkeys behind you in the forest there. Is there any monkeys? No, I can't see any monkeys. Anyway, so there are a whole bunch of things I can tell you about this. The first thing is that we cheat with J-Crete. So I'll tell you our cheat. Our cheat is that we get the most awesome people to come. And so because the most awesome people are there, they tend to be interesting, because otherwise they wouldn't be there. And then they start naturally talking. And it's really funny because we've got these like 5 or 6 assigned rooms, but most of the interesting discussions are not even happening in the rooms. That's outside on the beach. People are standing outside and talking. So this informal talking is really, really important. And it's something that you can't really capture. It's in the moment. So you're either there and you get it, or you miss it. And I've often seen, Cliff Click and Kirk Pepperdine and who also a whole bunch of people that would stand around and talk the whole time, in a little group somewhere. And you go, well, this is what you want. You want to have lots and lots of different rooms talking. So the first thing is you need wonderful and amazing people. So that's what I focus on. We don't have a differentiation between the speakers and the participants. That's one and the same. So it's like one hierarchy. There's no like, hey, you're VIP and you're not VIP. We're all the same. We're all like, I'm not a communist, don't worry. But the point is, for this, we're like, we're the same, because we're all on the same. We all want to learn. Everybody can learn from everybody else. But then I think the one tip that I got, which when I started thinking about organizing this, a tip I got from Bruce Eckel, who does I've not been to his event, but apparently it's like the best of any of the unconferences. But the tip he gave me is not to try to control too much about what's going on. In other words, if you can provide 40 rooms and say, right, you just go for it, have fun, instead of trying to control it, people actually have a better experience. You just need to make you need to provide the facility for people to get together. I do that with I've got a Java specialist Slack team. And my wife often asks me, how's your Slack team going? And I go, honestly, I haven't got a clue. What I've done is I've provided the facility for the Slack team to be there, right? I just said, here's a Slack team. And I've got, I think, 10,000 or so people on the Slack team, and they just get on with it, and they chat, they interact with each other. There's not much, 10,389. So it's over 10,000 people in the Slack team. And they're just having fun and getting on and talking to each other. And there's nothing I need to do. And it's the same thing with Unconference. What makes it successful, what makes it more successful than it otherwise would be, is my lack of involvement. If I got more involved, then it would become worse. So and so that's sort of the tip in terms of the organization is try to stay away from controlling it on conference try not to control too much. Provide the facility, provide the rooms, and encourage people to talk, and then step back and let them do it.
That's precious, right, Bruno?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, one of the keys of the success of TDC, right? Because TDC, it's actually composed today of more than 100 little events done by 100 different communities that they organize their own things. There's a lot of infrastructure that we're putting behind, right? The call for paper systems and the support for people and the rooms and the places and all of that. And sometimes you have to select things a little bit, right? Because you have 100 people trying to submit tracks, and we only have 30 rooms, right? So we have to do some kind of selection. But a lot of one thing that I love about TDC is actually Yara can tell the story of how TDC started. Not how it started, but how the model that we use today started. And it's all about this, right? Hey, let's get other people to help out and let's do whatever they want to do, and that works. So I totally agree with you, Heinz.
Yes, open innovation. But Heinz, I think that's when I see people trying to, it's strange after you talk, to organize open spaces, right? Seems a bit controlling that, but when we try to organize open space and we are thinking about events, generally, if we have a talk, we do expect, I like to have 50 people, 100 people, 200 people, right? If I had only 10, maybe speaker will be feeling that it was not success or all that. And then when we go to open space sessions or, organizing that inside our event, sometimes our heads, our metrics, they are based on talks. So how do you think that judges or other event organizers, they would say this open space was a success? Because my people, they would say, you create the open space, but there were few people there, only 5 people, so it was not a success, right? So, on the event organizer's perspective. So how you would say that an open space was successful?
That's a really good question, Yara, because I don't have sponsors, and I don't want sponsors, and I've never tried to get sponsors for my event. We've got unsponsors, right? They basically don't know that they're sponsors, and they don't buy beer, so they're unsponsors. We've got all the big names. Oracle, Microsoft, IBM, all of them are unsponsors. They don't give us anything, and we don't mention their names, and they don't know that they're unsponsors. No, I'm kidding. But basically, because we don't have to worry about sponsors, everybody pays their own way. It puts us in a completely different mindset. We don't have to worry about numbers. We don't have to worry about, do we get 500 people, do we get 1,000 people? You see, it's a completely different thing, what we're doing. When you're doing a normal conference, you have to, unless ticket prices are $2,000 or $3,000 each, you're going to have to get sponsors to help. And the same thing with speakers. Ordinarily, if you tell a speaker, hey, do you want to come? We've got 20 people you can speak to. The speaker's going to go like, what? I'm going to fly all the way from Greece to Brazil to speak to 20 people? You're nuts. Come on, you must be joking. So that, of course, doesn't work. And unless, of course, you're charging $3,000 per person, then you can do all that. So you can't compare the two. It's very different. The unconference is not, I don't think it's a money-making scheme. And I've never tried to make money from it. None of us make money from it. But I think what you can get from it is the feeling and the inspiration from it. Because I can tell you something, a lot of people leave from J-Crete incredibly inspired to do all sorts of amazing things. You'll have JitWatch and Quarkus and all sorts of things coming out of the innovation that happens at J-Crete. But that's not something where you can go to a sponsor and say, hey, would you like to buy us some beers? Or do you want to pay for the food? And they go like, what are we going to get for it? Well, you get a nice warm feeling. That's it. It doesn't work. So it's completely different. You can't compare it as far as
a nice warm feeling in a nice warm beach.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I would even say to the sponsor, well, if you sponsor us, that doesn't mean that we're going to let any of your people come either, because we're very selective. It's because it's a small event. You can't have 1,000 people. So give us some money. We won't mention your name, and you can't send anybody to the conference. That won't work, right? No one will give any money for that. So what you're doing is amazing. I've only heard good things about what you're doing, and I wouldn't, in my opinion, I don't think you should feel any pressure to try to be what we're doing just because we're doing it. We're a completely different environment. I mean, with us, it's about a third of us are Java champions, or people that probably should be Java champions. So, the level of people is completely different at an unconference like ours. You can't compare it to what you're doing. I think what you're doing is amazing. You're reaching the broader market, and don't stop what you're doing. The only thing is, have some rooms somewhere people can chat, but don't stop what you're doing. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
You're muted, I think.
I think you're muted, Yara.
No, you're still muted. And I'm really bad at lip reading. Oh, she's gone. Oh no.
Oh, she's gone. All right. Okay, so
she's coming back. Wait, she's back.
She's coming back. All right. Okay, cool.
Yes, it's just I had a problem with the battery here, but I'm not. I just think that the needs of people now on the situation we are living is different. So I just believe that this moment we need more discussion. We need more engagement. We need less consuming and more speaking. And for this moment, the open spaces, the panels, debates, they fit better. They are very important on this moment. And when I think of this pressure, because we have a big audience, I don't see one particular activity being pressured by the sponsors. So I don't mind on having, a track that has 20 people. And we do have several tracks that, they are quite small. But I believe that community is small. They are growing and they deserve. But what I feel more upset is for the organizers, the speakers, or the person that is organizing, and they feel failing, So if you do an open space and nobody shows up and all that, I feel bad that people feel they failed. And that's why, I said the metrics, or how you would say that something is successful. Because I'm more worried on this point. We have sponsors, speakers, and then the track organizers, and we want all them to leave the conference, like I did it. And that's why I asked about measures, more about the people that are doing it.
So Yara, just very quick, just 1 minute answer on that one. The last time that I spoke at one of your events, it was really, what I really liked about it was sort of getting together afterwards and chatting to people. And to me, that's actually a good simulation of a normal real conference, because that's what I would do at a normal conference. I would speak, and then I'd get to chat with people afterwards. So I really like that. I like the fact that people can chat back. And in what I've seen so far, a lot of people have tried to mix unconference and normal conference, and they're so different. It's very hard to mix it. But if you can encourage more the sort of interaction, and also interaction with the speaker, because it's really difficult when you're speaking and you get zero, like nothing at all, response from the audience. And I've had that, and it's absolutely terrible. You're speaking and speaking and speaking, and there's not a peep from the audience. They don't comment, they don't say anything. It's just completely silence, just crickets, nothing. So that's really important. That's really important.
That's fine. I love it. Your insight, Hein. Thank you very much. I hope you can come to TDC Online this year. We have copper papers open. We can do an open space, we can do panels, we can do debates, anything you want to do, you will be very welcome, and we'll open all the space. Just talk to Bruno, and it will be an incredible, it will be awesome for us, okay? And if you come here online, I promise we can speak for the dates for 2021, okay?
Fantastic.
Thank you very much,
right.
Bruno.
Thanks very much.
So thanks, Yara. It was an awesome presentation. Thanks very much. All right. So
thank
you know
that are watching.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah.
Thanks everybody. Right, so that's it, right? So now I can go, Bruno. Am I done here? Can I go home? Actually, I'm home. What am I going to do?
You're home. So no problem. Thanks a lot, Yara. It's awesome to have you here. Thanks very much. So everyone's saying agreed. Thank you. So Hattie, maybe you have a chance to go talk with Yara now, right? That she's leaving. You know, Hattie was afraid of being shown in the main stage, but you know, maybe you guys can talk now. All right. Thanks, Yara.